Very good evening, everyone. My name is Gulshan Memoria. I'm the founder and CEO of Inspired Valley, which is a training company based at Delhi. As you all know, that we've started this initiative, this Inspired Valley School initiative, wherein every week we invite some of the prominent leaders from education fraternity, and we discuss some of the very prominent topics. Like today's topic is harnessing the benefits of outdoor education and taking learning beyond the classroom. So indeed, it's a very important topic which needs some brainstorming sessions. So to brainstorm on this wonderful topic, we have some esteemed speakers with us. The very first speaker we have is Dr. A.K. Sinha. He is working as principal at Delhi Public School, Vadodara, Gujarat. We also have Miss Nima Jain. She is also working as a principal at Priyadarshini Nagpur Public School, which is in Nagpur, Maharashtra. We also have Miss Sapna Sankla. She is working as principal at RMK Residential Senior Secondary School, Chennai. And lastly, we have Miss Neeti Tripathi. She is working as vice principal at Cider International School, Chittagong, Bangladesh. I welcome you all on our show. So let me start today's discussion by taking some response from your side on this topic, like taking learning beyond the classroom. So my question with all of you is that why we require students to move out from their classrooms and why there's a need to take classrooms or can say outside the classrooms a learning environment. Any one of you can share your response so that at least we can start some base with it. Anyone? You can raise your hand. I'll ask your response. Can we start with Dr. Sinha? Yes, Dr. Sinha, please share your response.
Okay, fine. See, it's very important for us to take our children outside the classroom. The first and the foremost need for such an experience is to take the child out of the boredom of the four walls that the child is confined to throughout the day, throughout the week, months after months, years after years.
Exactly.
This is one prime reason why we need to take the child out of the classroom. As and when we begin the discussion on different topics, we can tell how we can use the rest of the opportunities available outside and how we take the child forward with that kind of a learning. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Over to you, Sapna ma'am. Please share your response.
Yeah. So, adding on to what Dr. Sinha has said, learning has to be extended beyond the classrooms. It is not confined within the classrooms. And when we provide an opportunity to the students to actually explore, to discover, and to learn, and to do things differently, it actually makes them into very, very engaged learners. And then there's a chance of learning a lot of new things and a lot of other things, including the life skills. So, learning beyond the classroom is something very much required. We have observed how during the pandemic, when we were restricted to digital learning, our children missed a lot of things. In fact, they missed a lot of learning. And when you take the children outside, there is an informal setting. So, in an informal setting, learning takes place more efficiently and more effectively. And that's why I think it should be definitely included in every school.
Exactly. You rightly said. We cannot, can say, make everything possible. I mean, inside the classrooms. So many things take place outside the classrooms. Wonderful. Over to you, Niti ma'am. Please share your response.
I just want to say one thing. We all know that nature is one of the best teachers we've ever had. So why to keep children away from that teacher? We must take them to nature, let them explore and learn from the nature. So that's why, as everybody's saying, outdoor learning, outdoor education is absolutely important and integral part of our education system.
Great. Over to you, Nima ma'am. Please share your response.
I strongly believe that whatever change you want, if whatever change you wish to see, for that we need to first begin from our own selves. So it's really important when we talk about teaching outside the classroom. It's really important that we are talking about holistic development, we are talking about rest of the things, but the thing is that when we take them out of the classroom, there's a proper decorum and the rules and regulations which are to be followed when we bring them from out of the class, because you know, inside the classroom the teaching is concentrated in the four walls, but as Ram said right now, that nature, the other teacher whom we are missing out always, so the teacher nature is free, you know. And the saddest part is that we only in schools teach children about nature, conservation of nature, and things like that. And we bring them out of the classrooms. We teach them about nature. We teach them about, you know, holistic development. We talk about a lot of other things wherein children are developing, but we actually don't see that at other places. So this is where, you know, the problem gets enhanced, and that's why today as well we have to talk about such things. So I think you know, having a holistic development outside the classroom is really really important, but
Which is
with
important, yes, with some set of rules. I mean, I got your point. Dr. Sinha, you wanted to add something, or should I ask you the question directly?
You can ask me the question.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. This is a wonderful question which we have, which we want to ask you. So, research suggests that outdoor education can improve the student problem solving and critical thinking skills. Not just these skills, there are whole bunch of other skills as well. So, can you share some of the examples that how specifically your school has successfully integrated the outdoor learning activities to foster this kind of skills? Over to you.
See, thank you so much. Right. I would like to give you an example.
Please.
Right. Over the last year, we did some pilot study in our school after the children came back from the COVID, and we tried to see what could we do differently. Taking children outside the class was one aspect. Then we tried to introduce in some classes a day without books. Now, I can tell you that as recent as Friday, yesterday, right, we had one of those days when the whole school was without books. And you can imagine, a school without books is a school outside the classroom,
Exactly.
in the field, in the corridors, in the OTS, in the open air theatre, all over the school we had children. Now, two very, very important things that I observed with the children was that their way of arranging themselves to be able to view whatever is there in front. One very simple thing which all of us face sitting in a crowd, that we have got somebody tall sitting right in front of us, we are not able to see things there. Then the ability to try to synchronize our listening and watching, the two activities, to be able to understand what is going on. And the third important thing I'll tell you, which is unbelievable, the school was extremely silent compared to a normal working day with children working in the classrooms. This was something that we discussed at the end of the day in a staff meeting that we commenced at from 2:30 to 3:30, and each teacher was surprised about it.
It's
Now, what
wonderful.
did the children gain? What was what was the critical thinking that the children found out? What basically I observed, and we as a group of teachers, we found out that all these children had solutions to every situation that came during the day from 7:20 till 2:10. Every situation had a solution. There was no rush going in the cafeteria. There was no problem when it drizzled a bit. There was no difficulty changing classes from one teacher to the other. There was no problem in going from one venue to the other, whether it was the basketball court or whether it was the swimming pool. You can believe, Mr. Gautam, that we had children all over the place,
Exactly.
except the classroom. What I can tell you is that this experience, and remember, the children were learning. We were not whiling away time. We were conversing languages. We were discussing science. We were talking about stories from our mythological books. We were talking about the historical things. We had children talking about the Second World War, the experiments conducted by the Russians over the prisoners that they had. and so many things
Hmm.
which I myself have not known in my 35 years of career. I learned in that one day yesterday.
That's wonderful. What you said completely makes sense. Sometimes we don't have to prepare it to some extreme extent. No, we just need to create the atmosphere, and the learning will take place themselves. Isn't it right?
100%. 100%.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing your response. I would love to have response from the other principals also if they are doing something in their school, kind of a similar activities, because this is called the bagless days, I believe. I'm sure that many schools are doing this kind of activities. Over to you, Sapna ma'am. If your school is specifically doing to foster the outdoor learning experience. So if there's something specifically that you are doing apart from the bagless days activities.
Yeah. So, I would like to share a thing which happened, in fact, yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So, yesterday there was a launch of Chandrayaan 3.
Exactly, yes.
And
Yeah.
since my school is very close to Sriharikota, first we decided, let us show it on the screen in
Hmm.
classrooms on smart boards. I said, why to show live streaming? Let them watch live. So we
Hmm.
all, the entire school, we went to our cricket ground. It's a huge ground, athletic ground. And then we connected the live audio as well so that we can hear what is happening. And then we actually saw Chandrayaan lift up, and it was such an amazing sight, and children were so happy, so happy. So
Hmm.
I could practically experience, so much of learning happened. I think the teachers could not have taught all those things in the classroom about Chandrayaan, what we could
Hmm.
actually tell them when they were on the ground, and there was so much of discussion happening between the students. What is that the Chandrayaan 3 is going to carry, when it is going to reach the moon, how it's going to orbit. And when the countdown started, everybody started from 15 seconds back, they started shouting the seconds, and you could see the Chandrayaan lift up, and what an amazing feeling it was. So I think, we can definitely harness the power of outdoor learning, and
Well,
this was one
this is, I mean, I must say,
practical.
this is the best example of taking the most of these opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, truly. So children really, for some time they were lost in the world, and
Hmm.
of the Chandrayaan 3, and there was so much of discussion happening after that. So I
Hmm.
think the same effect we would not have had if we would have shown it on the screen. So
Yes.
that
When you
is
have
one
the option, then
practical
why to
experience
show it on screen when you have the live
when
stream?
we have the option. So
Exactly.
that's how we
That's
plan
that's a
things.
that's a great example. Even a lot of leaders or the teachers should learn from this example. This is just one example, and indirectly we can do number of things. This is just one
Very.
example. Great, great, great. Over to you, Niti ma'am. Please share your response.
Uh, I just want to share one of the activities which we do in our school and which is prominently done outside, and that's called circle time.
Hmm.
We start our day, especially in pre-primary section or sometimes even in primary section. We start our day with circle time. So what happens during the circle time? Everyone, the entire class is out. We have a huge playground, and everybody is out.
Hmm.
Teacher and student, all of them, they stand in a circle, and then 10-15 minutes, chit chatting, informal talks go on. Now, first thing, when children go outside the class and they reach to the playground, automatically they get energetic. Then again, everybody is in the circle and everybody stands equal over there. So no one is like higher authority, no one is having a lower authority. Everyone is free to share their thought. Everybody is free to talk. Nobody is judging anyone, and discussion can be as small as like, what's your favorite meal, or what food you had last night, or
Hmm.
how did you spend your weekend. Teacher would just start and then the discussions would come on. One fine thing happens during circle time is that every single child talks, and when
Hmm.
one child talks, everyone listens. So we prefer to do it outside because, first of all, early morning outside is very pleasant. We have huge space, so everybody is comfortable. Children are outside the classroom, so they do not feel those restrictions of following the classrooms and sitting on their desk and chairs and listening. And everyone is free to move their hands, run,
Hmm.
jump, and after that they come back to the class. So it's a great start of the day, especially
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
our
Hmm.
pre-primary section. So this is one thing we follow every day. Every day they go out, every day they have circle time, and every day they come back. Of course, if it's raining or some other issues are there, then it happens in the classroom.
Great. This reminds me of one of the Asian African tribal culture or activity, which they call it Ubuntu, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
a
I know.
similar thing, I believe, right? So at the end of
Yes.
the day, they sit in a circle and they do the similar stuff to have more
Yes.
bonding. And there's no particular because everyone is same in that circle.
Exactly,
Great,
exactly,
great, great.
including the teacher. So
Yes.
no one has authority over anyone. Everybody is equal, and they know that during circle time they can just speak their heart out. No one is going to
Hmm.
say anything or judge them or talk anything. It's very, 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 and the discussions are always amazing during that
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, this is also, I mean, being in public speaking space. I mean, we go and we now though we are discussing in a very prominent manner. If all the participants are sitting like this and you're sitting in a podium, then you're putting all the speakers, all the listeners in at the lower part, right? So and you're putting yourself in a very authoritative state. So now everyone in this sort of universities also they are creating this culture that everybody sit in circle and then they'll start the discussions. So if you are doing that's wonderful. Over to you, Nima, ma'am, please share your response.
Of course, quality circle time is happening as one of the special activities in our school as well. So I can relate much with Neeti ma'am when she's talking about the quality circle time. Of course, there's a lot of life skill development which happens when we do this circle time activity. I would also like to mention that I really want and I want that the children should start their day with a fresh attitude. So we work a lot on assemblies. So we have monthly themes, which initially I also used to have weekly themes. Then I shifted to monthly themes as well. So right now we are going on with health as well because it's a Doctor's Day and Nutrition Week. So there are so many things which come up. So and this is the best time when we can teach children about eating right and eating how much to eat and what to eat. So all these things. So health is wealth is going on. So we had doctor's session. So this is also out of the classroom, which is again a developmental stage of the children where children learn about their own body. They try and learn to respect others' body, which is very important. So this is done. Then of course I just love doing this is concerts and gatherings, what we do in our schools, which is a wonderful way of learning. I know, I mean, you will also be able to relate it because we've all gone through our school days. These are fun days, and so much of learning happens during this because we work so hard to decide a theme for children, and we work on that theme, and there's a systemized process which keeps on going, and there's drilling and practice going on. So there's so much which happens, even then the sports day which happens. So there are so many things which we keep on doing. But of course, especially if I tell you about my school, we have tied up with a sports company wherein they bring the children out of the classroom, and they are given hands-on feel of all the equipments. Generally what happens is that children do not get, each child doesn't get that equipment,
Exactly.
generally 15 days, or after a week's time the next 15 children will be are able to play. So that is what one thing we do, and we work a lot on music as well. So we have an empanelment with a music company wherein they are teaching children on keyboard and drums. So which is another level for enhancing their art, music, and we have an exhibition which we specially put up for junior classes, which is Artoons. So we've named it as Artoons, and there is all art and craft activities done by 1 to 5 children, and on the parallel we do it manifest for 6 to 10 standard children, wherein they work on science projects. So much of learning and so much of fun they have. So we have different, and we have robotics with us. So
So
we are doing.
one thing I like about, I mean, all the things that you're talking about, that you have everything in place, and from music to sports to science projects. So sometimes it's good to have everything planned in such a manner that you are engaging your learners in that manner, that everybody is so engaged and learning a lot of things. For an example, when you said that okay, the sports day, so if any student has to prepare for the sports day, then they have to go through the whole process wherein they learn about the creativity, they learn about collaboration, the teamwork. So every other skills has been learned in such a manner with this the whole process. Wonderful. I would like to ask you the next question with Sapna ma'am. Sapna ma'am, many schools faces the limitation in terms of the resources and access to the outdoor space, right? Which is the problem with many schools. Not everybody or not every school is having the particular spaces wherein they can organize. So how does the outdoor, you can say, how have you like how anyone can overcome these challenges in implementing the outdoor education initiatives, or if there would be any advice to those schools to those challenges, then what would that be?
Yeah. Uh, Actually, the school where I am working now, it's a residential school, and it is a 46 acres campus. And we have everything under the sun, including a go-karting track and the swimming pool, and you name a thing, snooker, billiards, horse riding, everything. So,
Let's
presently, I do
pack.
not
Let's
have
do one thing, Dr. Sinha,
children.
Niti ma'am, Nima ma'am. Let's pack our bags and let's go to Chennai.
No, yeah, please do come because
Definitely,
we have a
definitely.
multi cuisine as well, and our school is known for the food that we provide. It's considered to be a very tasty food, and you would definitely have a wonderful time when you come to school. Like it is like a resort with a theater with 120 seats with all acoustics
It's kind
developed.
of a tantalizing offer.
So
Let's get back to the topic.
please do visit our school. So yeah, talking about constraints. Yeah, a few years back, I was in another school where I did have this type of problem where space was a big constraint, but still, I felt we had optimum use of space with the available resources. With the available space, we can do wonderful things. It all depends on how we plan, and are we passionate about taking our children out? Are we really interested to make them learn in informal settings? Are we really very keen that no, my children should have an outdoor feeling, they should go out, they should learn a lot of things? So it is very much possible. And in fact, when it comes to sports, we were actually we had outsourced a few sports companies who know they are experts in optimum use of space and allowing the children to have the same experience of sports. So they were very good at that. So we had actually outsourced such sports companies also, wherein at no point of time the children should feel that there is no ground, because they have such strategies which make children to do everything. But
Exactly.
coming to the space being a constraint, I feel even a corridor can be converted into an outdoor space. It can be done. It's not that you cannot do it. Even taking children for a round, showing the entire school, take them to the library, to the computer lab, to the physics lab, to the chemistry lab, go on a campus tour, go on a school tour. That becomes a wonderful outdoor activity. So it's not that you should always have a very big space. Within the available and limited space also, we can conduct all these activities wherein we give an opportunity for learning through different ways and also enhancing their skills. So it's very much possible.
Exactly, you've rightly pointed out that it's not something that it's a will issue, right? If you have a will, if you have passionate about doing something with the students, then definitely, I mean, you can use the existing resources in such a manner, right? Great. Over to you, Nima ma'am. Please share your response.
I would just like to add that, if we have positive space, we can plan field visits for the children and give them an exposure, age appropriate exposure for different places of your own city. Because there are so many places where the parents can't take the children, but the schools have that possibility and the authority of taking. For example, a post office. Like, just having a small group of children of grade 1 or grade 2 and telling them what were postcards, what were Indian letters, all these things. So they'll get that exposure, they'll get that feel. They'll talk to the state, like postmaster and things like that. They'll see that post box. Gone are those days, isn't it? So we should tell them that what was before and what are you heading towards. So field was a very good option for doing that. I think so.
Exactly. Many schools are doing, I'm sure that many schools are doing a lot in the field trip space with the constraint of time and efforts, but still, there are many schools who are doing this and taking it in a very
Exactly.
progressive manner. Great,
Yes.
great, great.
Yes.
Well, now, I have one counter question to all of you. I mean, though we are in favor of doing the outdoor activities, so let me ask you, this is an open question for everyone, and let's talk about this negative things also, I mean, in a positive manner. So some critics argue that the outdoor education may distract the students from academic achievements, which might not be the case of students, but with the case with the parents, because the parents think that okay, the school is for this academic development, right? So how do you address this concern while still emphasizing the value of outdoor learning experiences? First, I'll give the response to Nima ma'am, then I'll go to Dr. Sinha.
See, I would just like to add in this my own experience. I was in grade six. I had completed my grade six. I had appeared and all, and we had summer vacation, and we were going for a trip. So my school had organized a trip. So it was a 15-day long trip, and I had never been out. Okay, so I mean, being average with health, and parents were always obsessed that we should not send our child out, kind of. But they somehow agreed when I said them. After going there, I was a changed personality. When I came back, I was completely different. I was independent. I was confident. I had so many, achievements in my bag. I had so many friends with me then, because we were so many who had gone. When I came back from there, of course, that experience was altogether today. Even today, I haven't forgotten that. After coming from there, I was better with my studies. I was actually better with my studies. I improved because I was and maybe which what I was missing out before that. So that was the thing. So I actually deny that outdoor activities would not enhance the academics. It rather enhances. Thank
Exactly. I
you.
mean, I could totally correlate with the example with the one which you gave us. Even I would like to share one example of my life. So after 10th, I joined one very prominent school in Delhi, Ramjas. So in Delhi, we have 18 Ramjas schools. So it's a chain of schools in Delhi. So I was in one of those, and I was a product of commerce with mathematics. So in 11th, I took this commerce with mathematics. So I had ample of time, unless the science students, to try different things. So when I entered in that class 11th, so we have one tracking club of Ramjas, and every year they organize one tracking campaign wherein all the 18 schools come jointly, and they have 2 months long tracking program wherein every student will go to for 20 days. That too in Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh. So I still remember, I totally correlate with you. So that 20 days, I still remember. I do not remember almost 95% of what happened in school, but I still remember each and every day what happened in that trekking club, what happened in those Uttarakhand hills. We were like 100 students, and I still remember the kind of collaboration that we have done. One day, one fine day, we have gone to that expedition program, और हम लोग राइस ले आना भूल गए, and then how we have jointly come together and we have managed with atta and dal and the other stuff. So those things matter the most, and thank you for reminding me that experience of mine. Over to you, Dr. Sinha. Please share your yeah.
Yes, I would just give a quick response to the earlier question talking about the paucity of space within the campus. Right. I can just tell you one experience of mine that as a founder principal of a school in Tokyo, right, this was a big problem right in front of me where space was a big constraint. But we could actually coordinate with the civil authorities, and we got so much of space after that, right, that we actually found ourselves wanting and trying to use all of them because we had all the spaces outside the playground, the swimming pools, the snooker, the golf, and so many other things. I mean, you name it and we had it. And then we had to plan the entire thing. So I believe that paucity of space is not really a constraint as long as there is no paucity of thought.
Hmm.
The second important thing I want to tell you in this context is that one very important thing, that when we take the children outside the classroom, it is not merely about learning little things. There is a big issue of social emotional learning.
Hmm.
I can tell you one thing, that if we make our children interact with the people in the old age homes, in the orphanage, I can give you live examples that I still have with me,
Hmm.
where parents have come back to me and said that today my child was asking, why doesn't my grandpa stay with us?
Hmm.
Why doesn't my grandmother stay with us? And parents had tears in their eyes saying that, sir, this is one thing that we were at a loss to answer, and we have learned this. So I
And
think this
you.
is something really superb, right? That outside the classroom, there are a huge number of things that can be taken care of and done. So we don't really need to, think too much about it, as long as we have the willingness to do it. And
Exactly.
then, when you said that parents think school is only for learning, I believe that we need to educate the parents also
Hmm.
about it. And in my school, what we do is that whenever we take the children outside, we always look for parents volunteers
Hmm.
so that they can come and join us for that trip. So maybe one or two parents from each class joins us. They are there on the trip and they can come back and they write their reviews and give it to us. It is a learning for us. It is a positive criticism for us, and it is a great help for us. So
Hmm.
I believe that if the parents really understand the fundamental reason of taking the children outside the classroom and more so outside the school campus, they would be more than happy, because all parents today understand that learning is not merely books, it is a much more than that.
Exactly, you rightly pointed. Learning and this the school is not just that the creating or making 90 percentile students. Education is much more vast than just securing good marks. Wonderful. Over to you, Niti ma'am. Please share your response.
See, first of all, parents have problem with everything. No matter what you do, there will always be a group of parents who will have problem.
Let's
So
not
what
be
we
very
do,
brutally honest.
yeah, I am being honest, and I think all of them would agree.
Hmm.
So what we do, as you were saying, some parent might be having issues with everything we do. So what we do in terms of especially the outdoor education, the excursion, field trip, we ask the parents to arrange for it. We make the parent part of it.
Hmm.
What we do, we suppose we have to take the kids to some NGO, or we want to take them for excursion to a museum or to a hospital or any other place. We have parents from all communities. We have doctors, we have police, we have everyone. So we ask them to help us. So when they become a part of it, they talk less about it. In fact, they start working towards it to make it better. Okay. The second thing is that, as Sir said, we also not only ask them to help us doing it, we also ask them to be a part of it by going along. So I would like to just give one small example. We recently had, we call it student-led conference, and most of the schools might be having it too. Student-led conference is a program which is fully led by the students. So we had the student-led conference in our school. So I was coming from ground floor, and there was this grade 2 child. That day the parents come to school and children show them their entire teaching and learning journey. They prepare their portfolios and they share it with their parents and guardian, and they take them to all different part of the school. So there was this child who had brought around 7 8 parents and guardians along with him. So what the child was doing, usually children when they go from the class to any other area of the school, be it sports, or they walk in line.
Hmm.
That's how the practice is, so that they don't disturb. This child made all 8 adults walking in line from the class. He was wanting them to go to the music room. Say they all were walking in line. Can you believe 8 adults led by a grade 2 child walking in line? And I suddenly came in, I saw, and I was like, what's happening? So the father and mother, they were in front. So they started talking to me. So the child, no, you cannot talk in line. He actually stopped them. So I was like, all right, you're a student now, so please follow the rule. So they became a part of it. So they understood how it is when the things are outside the
Hmm.
classroom, how they are taken care of. So by involving them into anything, we can handle them well. This is what I have learned. When we make them a part of it, we give them the ownership, we give them the responsibility, we share the responsibility with them. They actually
Hmm.
become a part of it, they understand it, and as sir rightly said, we have to orient them. So this way we are taking help of our parents from different background. We use them as a guest speaker, as a resource person,
Yes.
arranging trips for us. So they really really help us in this regard.
So instead of going against with them, just let's include them in the school ecosystem and other activities. Wonderful. Over to you, Sapna ma'am. Please share your response.
Yeah, actually, I would also like to point out one important thing. You said about parents thinking about marks and grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I feel this is a this is a harsh reality, no doubt. Because at the end of the day, you know, the marks and the score, what the children get also matters a lot. Particularly if you look at class 12 students, where the NCRT result, the IIT result, the NEET results, all these are very important, no doubt. What if we can integrate learning outside the classroom also to impart academics? For
Hmm.
example, I'll give you an example. My PT teacher, he was, and the physics teacher together. You know, you must be knowing about Neeraj Chopra's gold, which he won in the Olympics, the javelin gold, right, in the javelin throw. There, his javelin was actually supposed to be at an angle. It should be at an angle of 90 degrees or something like that, and he had a different angle. And with the help of that another angle, he could get the optimum distance. So, in
Hmm.
fact, my physics teacher and my sports teacher together, they took the children outside and showed it practically how, and also taught physics principles. So, it is not that when you are taking children out and all that, you know, you compromise on the academics. No, in
Hmm.
fact, academic learning becomes stronger when you really allow them to have an experience. That's what we talk about, experiential learning. We move from concrete experience to reflective observation to abstract conceptualization, and then to active experimentation. So this is a very sound example of how learning can happen. Similarly, my teacher in biology, we
Hmm.
have herbal garden in our school. There's a herbal garden with the name of the plant written, the species, and what are the medicinal properties. And this is what they learn in the subject.
Hmm.
So I don't think like we are deviating from the academics when we are doing outdoor learning.
Hmm.
Outdoor learning, in fact, there is a bonus for us that apart from all these academic skills, they also learn a lot of life skills. They learn a lot
Hmm.
of social skills,
Hmm.
interpersonal skills. They learn collaboration. All the four C's of the 21st century are also
Hmm.
brought in one place. So I feel, you know, it has got a double benefit. So nobody should actually think otherwise or have an iota of doubt that when you are going to engage so much of outdoor learning, it would affect the academics.
Hmm. You rightly said. You rightly said. It's just that we need to more and have more session with the parents. I mean, to include them in some of the activities so that they'll more familiarize with the school pedagogy, the new pedagogy.
So, because
Yes.
as Niti ma'am said rightly, you know, sometimes parents, they would be very fast in commenting. What is this? Every time there is no class happening, you're not teaching anything. They're only going outside. They're doing this and that. So if we communicate it properly to the parents, I think they
Hmm.
would not have such doubts.
Hmm. I'm sure Dr. Sinha must have cleared a lot of doubts with the parents in this regard, isn't it, Dr. Sinha?
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. I mean, we have a huge number of parents in this on the campus every day, right?
Hmm.
And so my problem with parents regarding teaching and other activities is solved. Anything else that crops up, right, is a part of the everyday system and life. So we have to tackle that.
Great, great.
Yes.
I have another open question for every speaker. I mean, this is again very important one because when we talk about this creating outdoor activities or outside the school even, then there's a strong need to create better understanding with the local community at large, right? So building a strong partnership between the schools and the local community is crucial for successful outdoor education initiatives, right? So how have you collaborated with the school or this community organization, businesses or individuals to enrich your students to better learning outcomes? One by one, any speakers would love to have few examples from your side. I'm sure that being the kind of experience that you all have, that you must have been through all these experiences, right? Over to you, Dr. Sinha. Please share your response.
Yes, what I would like to tell you is that our school is placed in such a locality where on one extreme end we have the villages, and on the other side the real developed townships start. So it doesn't take much time, more than 5 to 8 minutes to reach either of these places. The best part over here is that we have been able to communicate with the village panchayat, with the village headman, and they have been very, very helpful in helping our children go and understand the basic ethics of a village life. And when I say basic ethics, it talks about the life, the living, the standard village culture, including the farming and everything else that they do, animal husbandry, then poultry. And our children have learnt a lot from that point of view. When it comes to the urban part of it, what we have actually done is that help our children go out to the local colonies and understand what exactly is the need of the local colony. And I can tell you one thing, children have learned so well when parents of a particular society, in Vadodara, a closed gated colony is known as a society, right? So when parents from societies come up and talk about the problems they face of littering all over the place, right? And people not taking care of the noise and the sound that they have in one house, disturbing the others. All these little things are life skills that the children are learning without much effort. And some of these parents who own bakeries, who own certain jute mills, they have helped volunteer to take our children there and show them everything and make them understand what they are doing and how these things become important in the lives of the common man. And I believe this has really worked wonders. And I'm really very happy about how the parent community in my school comes forward, right, ready to help at any point of time and whenever we require them.
It's a wonderful efforts. Great, 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 Dr. Sinha, for sharing this wonderful example. Over to you, Sapna ma'am. Please share your thoughts on that question.
Yeah, actually, connected to our school, we have lots of paddy fields. And most of the people, those who actually are staying there, someone from their home works in our school. Since we have almost 200 workers taking care of the gardens of our school, because ours is a green school. We have been a green school awardee from GSP for consecutive 4 years now. So we are always connected to greenery. And because of our collaboration with this local community here, we have something called as rurals, and where we actually allow the students to go to these farms and have a practical experience of how do you plant paddy, those things, removing it and then planting it with all that, using a shovel, how to cut grass and all that, and planting of saplings. So on a regular basis, our children go to these farms. They also interact with the farmers and look at the way they live and about their lifestyle and what is required and what are the advancements and fertilizers they use. So all those things we have it on a regular basis. So we have a very good tie up with this local community, so that we also give an experience to our children to learn all these things outdoors.
Exactly. I mean, and all this experience would help them later in their life to start their own businesses or to work in those areas, because at certain point of time they had the experience, because not everybody is meant for IIT or NEET or G. There are many people and then many students who are actually starting their own businesses and they are actually working for these problems. So if the school will give them the hands-on experience at a very early age, they can start thinking, I mean, what is the solution for these problems?
Yeah, to add to this, actually, the sixth subject that we offer in class 11 and 12 is horticulture.
Okay.
So our students learn horticulture. So this is a part of their project. And in class 10, the sixth subject is agriculture. So, it's like adding up to their knowledge as well. So there's a connectivity between academics as well as what hands-on experience and learning they've got.
That's great. That's lovely. Over to you, Niti ma'am. Please share your response.
Okay, so to have a collaboration with the local community
Yes.
and to know what exactly is happening around us, we like every other school. We're also doing many things, and I would like to say talk about one particular event. We recently organized our first ever TEDx event in the
Mm-hmm.
city. This was first in the city we organized in our school. And what we did, we purposely chose those speakers which were from some local community and who've done some significant and different work in their own areas. And people were not actually knowing much about them. For example, we had a lady who was been fighting for the towards the sexual abuse of Rohingya women since ages. She has
Mm-hmm.
also spoken in UN and other stuff. Then there was this person who started the um, cafe business, cafe culture in Bangladesh, which is a very new culture here, to be very honest. So this was the person who took initiative, and now we at least have some cafes and all around here. Then we called a person who's from the sports background, and he went on representing Bangladesh onto some international competition and won medal. So likewise, we chose locals from different areas and we brought them to our school as our TED speakers. So
Mm-hmm.
when they shared their inspiring journey with the students and parents, and when they told them all what they have done, it was actually it was an eye opener experience for all of us. The result was there were many students who got connected with them personally, parents who also approached them that okay, now what can we do more about it, how can we do. So this created a really strong bonding. So usually what happens, instead of we keep trying, we keep finding, like there are many, Bangladesh is a growing country and there are
Exactly.
many new things happening here, 10 minutes school and most of that. So these things need a platform to get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Many things happen in our community which people are not even aware. So we try to find out and we bring them to our school, we give them a chance to speak, and then that's how we get collaborated with them. So they get a platform to expose their things and we get to learn from them. And this is how we are building a strong collaboration with the local communities. And it's really helping the kids and parents and letting us know that there are people who can do many things even if they don't have
Exactly.
much resources with them.
Exactly. So instead of taking inspiration from some XYZ person, so now they have the people around them and they can
Exactly.
easily connect
Uh,
with them.
Exactly. Our list of speakers were not known to people. Who are these people? People were not having any idea about. But when they heard their stories, when they learned about them, it was a great experience.
Great, great, great. Again, thank you everyone for sharing these wonderful experiences of yours. Now we are moving on to our last section, which we call it rapid fire round, which is the most like, amazing one. So in this rapid fire round, I'm sure that you people have already shared number of suggestions. I mean, how we can do a lot of things in the outdoor experiences to enhance the outdoor experiences. Now, I'll give you 30 seconds. Now, what you need to do, you need to give me some out of the box suggestions. How the schools can more harness this outdoor learning experience, right? So, and one there is one key on this. Then you cannot share the same example which you've already shared, right? So this is some creativity, this is something like all the teachers, all the principal can use it in their schools. So just take your 30 seconds, then I'll start with Sapna ma'am, then I'll go to Dr. Sina, then Niti ma'am, then last me Nima ma'am.
I am ready with my answer.
Okay.
I feel
Yes, over to you then.
in our school timetable,
Mm-hmm.
for every class,
Hmm.
we should we should allot one period for outdoor activity compulsorily, and it
Okay,
has to happen. So one period compulsorily outdoor activity should be added, and the
great.
teacher should do that outdoor activity and share with us the feedback and the report with a learning outcome. So I would like to add it in the lesson plan itself. So what is the outdoor activity you want to do, and what is the learning outcome out of that activity?
Great, great. This is one thing. Second,
You want one more?
yeah, I want one more.
Oh, okay, okay. Fine. So this is one thing. And
Yes.
second thing, I feel there should be like an appreciation given for the teacher for taking the children out and doing a learning activity, so that they get recognized and it is a motivation for other teachers also to follow the suit.
Great, great, great. Thank you, Sabna ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Sinha. Your two good suggestions.
Yes. Yeah, I have two simple suggestions, and I would not relate them with academics. But what I would like to do is that I would like all schools to give their children the opportunity to organize one holiday at their homes. One Sunday should happen according to the way they want. Number one. Number two, if the house goes out for a fortnightly shopping or a monthly shopping, I believe once the child should be given the job to decide what should be shopped for the rest of the month or rest of the fortnight. I believe these are two things. If we give the child this responsibility, the child would be able to understand the cost, the time, the energy that is given in by their parents to take care of the family. I believe for teachers and schools, we have talked a lot. The child should understand and appreciate the family as well.
It will enhance the sense of accountability at the same time responsibility. Great, great, great suggestions.
Right.
Over to you,
Right.
Nithi ma'am.
Right.
See, well, in our school, we don't have to actually plan for it because our curriculum is designed in such a way, and we offer Cambridge curriculum in our school, and there's a subject called Global Perspectives, where there's a mandatory requirement for the students to go out, learn, and explore. It has to be a part of their lesson plan, curriculum, syllabus, or whichever way you want to name it. So, right from grade 1 up to grade 12 AS A2 level, children have to go for outdoor activities and excursion and education. It's a mandatory requirement. So we actually don't have to plan. It is there. All we have to do is we have to see where we are taking kids, how we are linking it with our curriculum goal and lesson plan and our learning outcomes, and what kind of reflections we are achieving from the children, and so that next time we can have a better version of it. So this is one thing we have to mandatory do. And second thing, there is one thing which happens very often, and I would like to uh, say that reflection is very, very important whenever we go for any outdoor activities or we plan any excursion. After coming back, we must have a postmortem session on it. Sometimes we just go and we forget about it. There's no discussion. What have we achieved? What have we learned? What was the drawback? What was the shortcoming? How can we better next time? Not only among the students level, but also the staff and students, staff and staff, all three level. It should be done so that you can always plan better. Sometimes we are doing the same thing since ages, and it's not giving us the required learning outcome because we are not having the reflection on it. So if we collaborate the outdoor activity with reflection, I feel it can give a better outcome.
Great, great, great. Wonderful. I really like the post-mortem session then.
Yeah, I wanted to say reflection, but I said all right, actually it's more like a postmortem.
Great. Over to you, Nima ma'am.
I would like to add with all these points that way we should have a session, with children, recess with principal. So I know it's going to be hectic for the principal, but it's a fun time also because this is the time when the principal and the class, the single section, are all alone and they are having food. And food is the best medium to talk naturally because we all experience that when we sit with our family. So a family which eats together lives together. So that's the concept, and we should have that with the children. The principal goes, interacts with them. So they open up not only with their academic issues or things like that, but they open up what they want to become in life, because the moment they meet us, they have that what I want to do, and everything they want to share with us. So that's one thing. And I also feel that there should be a day boarding system wherein children are free to take their own activity which is not related to academics very much, but of course there should be a day boarding system wherein children are taking up an activity and working on it for 45 minutes to 50 minutes, which gauges and which enhances their skill. And of course, with the CBSE thing coming up, that skill implementation, which we want. So we can have a collaboration with parents for tie and dye sessions, and for there are sessions with when we talk about vocational things. So these masalas, what we want to make. So we have a parent who is into these spices. So we took a session when we called him, and we asked him to explain it to the children, especially with 9th and 10th, to help the children to understand small scale industry or small scale businesses, or local to global. So that way, so that way we worked on it. So this is the way we can collaborate with parents and help the children for vocational studies as well. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, there are many things that we have discussed in the past 50 minutes, isn't it? Many suggestions. I mean, the way we've started and how many points. I believe we've discussed for almost 40 odd points in just short 50 minutes. So, this lot can be achieved. And this is a perfect example of collaboration and the optimal utilization of the time. Exactly. So again, on the behalf of the entire Inspired Valley family, I thank you everyone, Chapna ma'am, Dr. Sinha, Niti ma'am, Nima ma'am, for giving your precious time. And I'm sure that all our listeners will be delighted by hearing of this conversation. And there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to do for the betterment of the students. So again, thank you everyone for sharing your precious time. We wish you best of luck.